able to unmute yourself? We did start the meeting.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, Pat. Perfect.
Perfect.
All right. So thank you very much. We'll get this webinar kicked off now that we have your audio situated. We'll be doing our guest speaker introduction towards the end of the webinar, but just appreciate everybody attending and welcome. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. Everyone has been muted upon entry. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, please add them to the Q&A section in this Teams webinar. At the end of the presentation, we will be addressing any additional questions. There will also be polls. Kayla has shared one out right now, so looking forward to get everybody's feedback, but there will be a couple of polls that we will do as well. So in the agenda last week in our webinar, we did an introduction to Copilot, and we talked about security features, compliance, and best practices for data protection. We've provided a link to the recording for those of you who are not able to attend in the chat, so feel free to access and view it at your convenience. Today's agenda, though, we will look at innovative real-world use cases of organizations who have deployed Copilot and what it means for their organization. We also have a special guest speaker on the call who will be joining me for a chat a little bit later in our presentation, and we're going to discuss their deployment of Copilot. So I'm Colleen Schills, Director of Customer Success, and joining me today is Stephanie McCauley, our Chief Marketing Officer and Integrator. So it's great to see some familiar names and faces that attended from last week's webinar. And we also have some new attendees. And so for the new attendees, I just want to take a couple of minutes to tell you a little bit about Crestwood. So over 25 years ago, Crestwood Associates began with a vision to empower businesses through ERP solutions. From a small Chicago office who started out with Great Plains, we grew into a trusted partner, always putting our clients first and helping them achieve growth. Shortly after Y2K, Crestwood started to look forward and was one of the founding members of the BDO Alliance. We added CRM to our practice and started to receive multiple awards from Microsoft that we were very proud of. In the past 10 years, Crestwood's focus has been around cloud ERP and digital transformation for our clients. We achieved our Microsoft Solutions Partner certification, which gives us the ability to provide cloud offerings and licensing to clients on legacy systems. We aligned with our partners to deliver the best-in-breed solutions that Acumatica and Microsoft have to offer. Today, Crestwood Associates is led by our CEO, Jason Schaefer, who continues our legacy of excellence. The company remains a leader in ERP solutions, dedicated to empowering businesses with the technology and expertise needed for successful digital transformation. Crestwood Associates is a little bit more than an ERP solutions firm. For those of you who are on this call, majority of you know that that's where our roots started from. We carry many certifications that expand our capabilities. Our team is staffed and ready to help you with your hosting needs, any data service needs, and quite simply your Microsoft licensing. Now it's time to turn the presentation over to Stephanie, where she is going to present innovative real-world use cases of organizations who have deployed Copilot and what it means for their organization. Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you, Colleen. Can you hear me? Am I loud enough?
We can hear you.
Perfect. All right. So let's do what we're here to do today, which is talk Copilot. However, before I talk Copilot, I do want to do a quick introduction of myself because it's really going to relay into the things we talk about today. So my role at Crestwood is a little bit unique in that we run on a program, a methodology called EOS. This is a very comprehensive business management framework that's designed to help organizations achieve clarity, focus, and growth. Those are the big three. And so while I'm the chief marketing officer in our organization, I'm also what's called the implementer and the integrator for EOS. And what that means is my role is to ensure that our business runs very smoothly by aligning our vision and our daily operations and holding our team accountable to our goals. And so I lead the implementation of this EOS framework and translate really high level strategies into actionable plans while driving execution across all of our teams. And so I really work to facilitate problem solving, maintaining clear communication, and keeping our company focused on growth and success, which really just ensures our vision becomes a reality at Crestwood. And so this past year, as I've been working with Jason, our CEO, and then also our internal team here at Crestwood, we had this vision for the future of what AI would look like in our organization. And we also wanted to think about, because we're a technology provider and we're more than an ERP provider, how does that apply to our clients? And so we asked ourselves this next question that I want to ask everybody on the call today. So imagine you had 10 extra hours this week. What would you do with it? Sounds silly, right? Because who's going to have 10 extra hours in the week? Now, I like to make this a really interactive webinar. So you guys are going to have to head into the chat today. There's going to be a lot of this, so hopefully you're ready for it. But tell me, what is your role in your organization? And what would you do with 10 extra hours each week? I know that sounds wild. Maybe it's 10 extra hours for you. Maybe it's 10 extra hours for your team. Help me understand who's on the call today and what it is that you're experiencing and how you would spend that time. And what I'll do is I'll make sure that I touch on those points today as we get through the presentation. So as you think about that, consider that most professionals are feeling the pressure right now, and we've seen it with our clients, we've seen it internally with really increasingly demanding workloads. And so whether it's due to more complex tasks or like we've seen higher expectations or just simply the need to stay competitive in your space, time is really this very scarce resource that we've been seeing across the board. And based on feedback we've been receiving from our clients, workers feel too much time is spent on repetitive tasks, data entry, and searching for information on tasks that could just be streamlined with the right tools. And so when we look at AI and when we talk about Copilot, these are transformative tools that can really reduce the time spent on mundane tasks. We're seeing it in some of these organizations, up to 30%, they're reducing mundane tasks. And it's enabling their workers to focus on higher value activities. So an example here is you can automate data entry, you can provide real-time insights, and you can assist in decision-making processes that are going to lead to significant time savings. So be thinking about that as we get through today. And with 30% more time, what would you achieve? This extra time could be used to enhance skills, to innovate something in your organization, or it could even really kind of help to improve your work-life balance, which is a huge hot topic right now. That was actually a request at a conference that I'm going to be speaking at next year, was how do leaders establish more work-life balance and enhance their skills with all of the demand going on around them, and how do they enable next generation leaders with exactly that? And so our goal here really is that more time in the week to do your work. And so on a larger scale, imagine that really that effect of every team member is gaining this additional time, and it could lead to faster project completion, increased productivity, and ultimately a very stronger competitive edge. And that's what we're all here for in business. We want to win at business. Business is somewhat of a game, and there's ways that we can be competitive in very simple ways. So let's today, what we're going to learn about is we're going to talk about practical uses of Copilot. We're going to explore practical examples. We're going to showcase some real world applications, and then we're going to discuss steps to implement these tools effectively and how we can help with that. So as we're getting through this presentation today, please don't be scared of the chat. Put in here anything that you want to make sure you walk away with after today's meeting. I'm very big about setting intention for meetings. You're spending your time with us here today. We want to make sure it's worth it. So let us know those things you want to make sure to know before you leave today, and we will get those answered for you. All right, so let's start with the world today when it comes to Copilot, and this is really going to lead the experiences that you're going to see in these use cases. So things around us, we know they're rapidly changing. We know that organizations need to adapt. This is nothing new. We've heard it over and over. You can't miss the news without hearing this at this point. But if you look back just a few years, we saw that organizations had already invested into their own digital foundation, and they were able to weather the disruption of the pandemic better than their peers. And with many of them emerging even stronger at this point today. And so we believe we're on the cusp of a similar inflection point today, because you really see the pressures that are happening in the market. And this is where I'm going to put my CMO marketing hat on as we look at what's happening in the market and in different industries. After a lot of years of disruptions that have been driven by the pandemic, industries are continuing to transform just very rapidly. And the global workforce is shrinking as the population ages. So at a macro level, labor productivity has stalled for years. And with a more connected global population, we've seen security threats that emerge and evolve even faster. But the pace of change has not slowed. So technology is advancing very quickly, very rapidly. It's grabbing the headlines, experiences based on large language models, and a lot of these confusing terms with GPT. They've really taken over the world. And in part because they can draw a vast store of data leveraging to massive computing power that's available in the cloud today. And we've seen the technology breakthrough with consumers. It's not just tech anymore. And so as a result, what you can expect with your employees, or as if you are an employee in your company, it's really these demanding kind of experiences and tools that you're using each day. You need more technology and more innovative solutions to how you're working each day. Similarly, your clients will quickly come to expect AI capabilities in the services that you're offering as an organization if they don't already. Something we've experienced at Crestwood Associates is we have our own line of IP. We have our Crestwood products that are add-ons for our ERP solutions. And we build those in-house with our in-house development team who's super skilled. And what we're seeing is with our products, we've had to innovate and start looking at ways to incorporate better AI for automation, analytics, and just multiple different areas that our clients are expecting of us. And so it's a really exciting time right now, but it can also be a little unnerving if you don't know what to do with AI or with Copilot in your environment. And that's what we're here for today. And so it's real. What you're seeing is real. Organizations across different industries are seeing different benefits when it comes to AI. CarMax, for example, deployed Azure OpenAI service on top of its really vast customer review database. And now it can quickly generate unique summaries for the cars available on their website. And when I speak about Azure AI Service and Copilot, they're related, but they serve different purposes. And I want to explain that because we will flip between these today as we explain a little bit of Copilot. So when it comes to Azure AI Service, this is a platform that provides access to really powerful AI models like GPT, including GPT-4, through Azure. It allows businesses to integrate these models into their applications for really various tasks like generating content, which we do internally with our marketing team, analyzing data, and quite a bit more. When it comes to Copilot, Copilot is an AI-powered assistant built into Microsoft 365 applications like Word, Excel, and Outlook. You're all familiar with that. And it uses these AI models to help users with tasks such as drafting emails, summarizing documents, and automating workflows. And so Copilot, in the connection here, Copilot leverages the models provided by Azure AI Service to performance functions. So these are in fact connected. Essentially, the sophisticated language models that are hosted by Azure OpenAI power the intelligent features that Copilot offers within all of your Microsoft applications. So as you think about that and you look at some of what's happening with Progressive here and you start hearing some of these other things today, these are connected. Progressive is using AI-powered chatbots to save $10 million a year as their bots answer up to, get this, 200,000 queries each month. And they're not just answering these queries, they're personalized, they're intelligent, and they're text-based responses. And then EY is using intelligent document automation with its clients in its new contract auditing service. contract auditing. We do contracts at Crestwood. I think about the time that it takes us to do contracts. And man, it's saving at EY, it's saving the clients an average of 250,000 hours of manual work. This type of savings is massive. When you think about the largest expense that a company has, it's always going to be labor and rework. Labor is the cost of obviously your team. Rework is the rework you're having to go back and redo because you didn't get it right the first time for a variety of reasons. Imagine if you got it right the first time, and if you were using AI, 250,000 hours of manual work is huge. So with the world-changing technology advancing and the potential for real and meaningful impact, the opportunity is kind of your challenge today. And so the thought process here is, how will your organization seize the full potential of AI? Maybe it is already, but you want to do it while safeguarding your business, your data, and your employees. Employees is a hot topic for me. I love talking about people and how it relates to the organizations. So let's talk more about employees as we get into some of these use cases. So today, in a very hybrid and flexible work environment, productivity has really been redefined. We were once focused on kind of grinding that time block from like 9 to 5, and employees, they would work 9 to 5. And if they didn't get done by the end of the day, then that's okay. Tomorrow is 9 to 5. The employees want a new set of business and productivity tools that empower them to do the work they want the best way they can. And so in this recent business trends survey, more than 8 out of 10 workers wanted tools and solutions to help them be more agile, to automate daily tasks, and make information more accessible. And more than 7/10 say they want these digital tools to work together in collaboration with the software they use to share content and ideas with others. So this is really important to pay attention to because AI starts with your employees in the organization. I'm a big proponent of serving your employees well, and then they'll serve your clients well. If you create an environment where they can do their best work, they're going to provide that best work to the clients. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to close out their day feeling accomplished, not overwhelmed by what's coming tomorrow. They're not worried about the 9 to 5. They're worried about getting the job done and doing it with efficiency. In fact, nearly 9 in 10 workers, and we've seen this through some of the studies we've done with our clients and internally, the organizations that are already using AI and automation say that automating tasks allow them to work seamlessly across different teams. And 85% of the employees believe automation within tools they use to collaborate will help teams work more effectively together, which is huge, especially in this world of working remote. So let's lean on this a little bit further. So 3 years ago, the Work Trend Index was born out of the need to help organizations make the shift from remote work and then flexible work. So back-to-back meetings, really endless pings on the Teams or whatever messaging system you use, emails coming in so fast you barely have time to read them. Sometimes it feels like you just don't have enough time or energy to actually get these things done or do the job you're hired to do. We all know that feeling. We've been there. And according to Microsoft from this 2023 Work Trend Index, the world's employees and business leaders do it too. In our annual survey of in the Microsoft annual survey of 31,000 people in 31 different countries, they found that the data, information, and just always on communication is weighing everybody down. It takes work to do work. But with next gen AI, with some of these advancements from Copilot, it doesn't have to be that way. And so what you're seeing on this slide is the intensity of work and always on communications are outpacing our ability to keep up. And AI is poised to create a whole new way of working to overcome these obstacles to productivity. So according to Microsoft, the new generation of AI will remove the drudgery of work and unleash creativity. Keep that in mind, that creativity piece, because that comes up later in this presentation today. So today, the platform shift to AI is already underway. Customers are turning to Microsoft to help them understand what this new era is going to look like. So whether you're using it internally in your business, whether your clients are using it, they're already looking up different ways that they can be more productive and more creative. And so nearly 2 in 3 people say the struggle with having the time and energy to do their job is an innovation and strategic thinking stopgap. And since February of 2020, people are in 3 times more meetings and calls per week. That's wild. While 49% of people say they are worried AI will replace their jobs, and even more, 70% would delegate as much work as possible to AI to lessen their workloads. So let's just touch on that for a second, because we saw this in some of the work that we've been doing. 49% of people say they're worried AI will replace their jobs. 70% would delegate as much work as possible to AI. So you really have like complete polar opposites of thoughts that are happening with AI, which is really kind of telling the story of the need for clarity around what these services can do for you as an employee. So in short, the study really kind of helps illustrate how AI-powered tools provide just tremendous opportunity for the community. Now, on the earnings call for fiscal year 23 on the Q4 call, the CEO of Microsoft said, it's not only how they can bring AI into the business, but how to ensure it's done safely and with responsibility. And so as we think about that and we get ready to look at how we're using Copilot, I just want to revisit what we saw last week in Ben's presentation. And again, if you haven't seen that yet, we threw the link into the chat. Definitely recommend going back to it, because this is one of the initial questions that we get at Crestwood about using AI and about using Copilot. And so now that you can see the need for AI just based on those last slides and how it's starting to create efficiencies for workers, it gets more creative about how to create a better experience for clients. And it's a really just beautiful virtuous cycle when you take care of your employees and you integrate Copilot into the everyday use of what you're doing in work life. That then turns into the things that you can do amazingly for your clients at the end of the day. That's what we're focused on at Crestwood. And as we get into exploring real case scenarios of Copilot, I just want to refresh you here. Microsoft Cloud runs on trust, and that trust has been a fundamental process that has been built into the cloud since the very beginning. Data is the fuel that powers AI technology, and you need to trust what your technology partners are doing with your data. Since Crestwood is more than an ERP provider, we can help with this. We are a cloud service provider as well. So if you're not a client of ours yet or already, of course, reach out. We can talk about that. But there's these three fundamental processes or promises that is made through the Microsoft Cloud. First, and Crestwood holds to these, your data is your data. It's not our data, it's your data. And that means it's yours to own and control. So your data to choose what you want to leverage and how you want to monetize it. Secondly, your data is not used to train or enrich foundation AI models used by others. You don't have to worry about anyone other than your organization benefiting from the AI that is trained on your data. Only your organization benefits from your data and business processes. And then third, your data and AI models, in fact, your entire organization, are protected at every step by the most comprehensive enterprise compliance and security controls in the industry. That's Microsoft's commitment to you. That's Crestwood's commitment to you. And the commitment you should have confidence in to leverage the power of how Copilot and AI are really going to transform your business and just your everyday. Now, if I had to summarize the true power of Copilot in everyday life of an employee at just a very basic entry level, before we get into really complex what Copilot can do, what I would say for myself is what we experienced was that we can empower productivity and creativity with AI assistance. And so let me say that again, empower productivity and creativity. It's easy to be confused by what all Copilot can do. And I think if we start with those as the two kind of foundational pieces, it allows you to build on it foundationally. So let's go deeper, and we're going to talk about some of the work we're doing to really radically accelerate productivity using AI business applications at Crestwood and what we're seeing with some clients. This is going to include a little bit of discussion around Dynamics 365 Copilot, and then also knowing that it's the world's first AI Copilot for CRM and ERP. We'll talk about that a little bit. And then we're also going to talk about just our experiences at Crestwood and what we're seeing in the market here. All right, so Copilot delivers generative AI to Microsoft business applications. You're going to get real-time access to business data and content. You're going to see the security and compliance and privacy policies that are inherited by your user admin controls. Your user admin has full control over what you can use or modify or discard. And it's really this designed platform that's performed to be sophisticated in the tasks as it learns. And so as Copilot brings the power of next generation AI capabilities and natural languages into your work environment, it starts to work alongside business professionals to help create ideas and content faster. And that's really what we leveraged at Crestwood. We started to think about time consuming tasks, getting insights and next best actions, and by just describing what was needed. So the AI-powered assistance is designed to empower business professionals. We're innovating Copilot experiences that are tailored for every role, every function, every line of business in our organization at Crestwood, and we're doing that with our clients. And we know everyone's going to benefit from those business processes as we've built them out. And so as we think about it, and what our focus was as we started to really implement this in our environment, was how do we generate ideas and content faster? How do we perform and automate tasks faster? And how do we get insights and next best actions faster? That's really where our focus was as a team. And so since the announcement of Copilot happened about a year ago, there's also been some announcements that we took into consideration at Crestwood. Copilot works alongside you in multiple different types of apps. So depending on what you're using in your organization, if you're using Acumatica ERP or if you're using Business Central, these things can change a little bit for you. But when it comes to Power Platform, for instance, you can use Power Platform no matter what ERP environment you have. Copilot lives in each of these. And so we have been playing around with a little bit of Power Platform. Our developers have been playing around with GitHub, and we're having an incredible impact with our developers who are reporting that they're able to focus on really more satisfying work because of some of the advancements that they're seeing here. And so we're excited to introduce Copilot here for your Copilot at work. Copilot really kind of it combines the power of large language models with your data, your calendars, your emails, your chats, your documents, and your meetings. And it turns your words into the most powerful productivity tool on the planet. No longer do you have to try to pull together queries and statements. You can talk in your natural language and tell Copilot exactly what you want, and over time it's going to learn more about you. And so let's hone in into specifically Microsoft 365, because this is where the everyday user or the masses are really beginning to experience Copilot today. And so Copilot is integrated into M365 in two ways. First, it works alongside you. It's embedded in apps for millions of people every day. And this is kind of like being the pilot. You're the pilot, you're flying the plane. You've got your co-pilot next to you, and they're going to support you along the way. So now you can be more creative in Word. You can be more analytical in Excel. You can be more expressive in PowerPoint. You can be more productive in Outlook, and you can be more collaborative in Teams. And so second, what I want to mention here is this brand new experience in business chat. This is something that is kind of interesting and fun to take a look at if you haven't used Copilot in your Microsoft apps. With business chat, you can spend less time focused on the tools and more time focused on the most important work. So you can ask Copilot to summarize what's going on given a customer, or highlight project milestones or risks, or create new content using references from across your data, because remember, this can access all of your data. Wow, so it's powerful, right? Business chat brings together information from multiple sources to keep everyone on the team on the same page and moving forward. You can do this in a group chat. You can spend less time focused on the tools and more time focused on the important work. So let's keep moving on. Nearly 9 out of 10 workers say that the automation and AI-powered tools that they would have in their environment would help them focus on more meaningful work. That's why Microsoft introduced several different areas of Copilot, whether it's GitHub or Dynamics 365. What they're really looking to do is transform business processes. And that's where we really get into this. Copilot can provide interactive assistance across multiple business functions, and it's built on the secure and trusted foundation of Microsoft Cloud. So we decided to put this to the test, and we challenged our organization at Crestwood to integrate Copilot into our environment. So let's zoom into that and let's see what the feedback was from our team. So first of all, we wanted to bring the power of next-gen AI capabilities and natural language processing to our environment. We wanted to be able to speak regular language. If I'm not somebody who knows how to do a query or put together complicated formulas, I just want to be able to get data faster. I want to create ideas faster, and I want to turn time-consuming tasks into really simple things. And so what we did as we implemented this into Crestwood, because before we can actually roll this out to our clients, we need to know for a fact how it impacts us and our organization. And just, as a note, if your provider can't tell you how they've implemented this into their own organization, at that point, don't trust implementing it into your organization. You want to hear real world facts. You want to understand the things that can be done here. And so we approached this by every role in the organization, every function, every line of business, from sales to service to marketing to finance. We asked our team leaders to test Copilot and report back to us on their experience from AI enhanced business processes. Where we really focused was, where can you be more productive and where can you be more creative? And we seamlessly wove it into our environment, providing guidance right when it was needed in different flows of work. Here's what we saw. So our sales team could move deals forward faster. They could respond with AI-assisted replies, and they could provide information faster rather than searching for it in a ton of different files. Our marketing team could get insights and product information and content faster using just natural language. Our customer success team could resolve issues faster, and there were more relevant, personalized recommendations that came as they were using Copilot to troubleshoot different scenarios that were coming in. So Copilot worked right alongside our team and helped them create ideas and content faster. Do you ever spend time on an email thinking, am I getting the right message across? Am I saying this the right way? Is it complete? Am I missing any details? That's where Copilot can come and help out and save so much time on creating emails. Those time-consuming tasks became less time-consuming for our team, and we started to get insights into next best actions just by describing what we needed as we were communicating and working together. So let's go one level deeper here. So as we got into the sales side of things, many sales teams struggle to scale with experiences. So we found that AI could help our sales team be more effective and enable them to automate the sales process. And we know customers more deeply we can be more productive with them because we can gain information better. So our sales team could spend as much as 66% of their time checking and responding to emails. That's crazy. Your sales team should be selling, not doing admin work. So between Copilot and Microsoft Outlook, teams were able to augment our sellers' actions, decisions, and really provide AI-powered insights and new actions. So new Copilot features help the team reclaim time and spend managing email to help boost productivity, tighten the workloads, and stay focused on what mattered most, which is connecting with the customers and closing deals, not responding to a ton of emails and trying to search and find documents. So Copilot suggests email content that helps create really quick replies, and it helps things move forward. It can provide predefined response categories, and even it can help you enter custom text into the email that you're generating. And once a response category is selected, it can even create a sample reply that you can use to customize and send back to your client. So the prompts in just email management alone have saved a ton of time for our team. And in addition, a new feedback mechanism allowed our sales team to rate the AI generated content with thumbs up or thumbs down. This allows you to know if what is being produced from Copilot is good, or if it needs to go back and rework it to start to learn you and your environment and the things that you expect for sending out messages to clients. And so by auto suggesting some of this customizable content, our team could spend less time on composing those emails and searching for sales data and more time on really connecting with those clients. Now, what we also found really, really helpful was our team spent hours a day on calls with prospects, with clients, and nearly as much time recapping the actions from those calls. Again, sales teams should be selling, not doing a bunch of admin work. You want them doing what they do best, which is connecting with clients. So to help with that, the conversation piece and the meeting recordings that were provided by Copilot really provided automated summaries of key topics, issues, and concerns discussed during each of these meetings that were very quickly turned into tasks in Outlook. And so that created a very nice recap where at any point we could send meeting videos and additional information very quickly after that call if we wanted somebody else to listen into it or if we wanted them to quickly read the notes. I personally had along the way as we were testing this missed a couple meetings. I was either out of office or there was a conflict on my calendar. And it was so simple for me straight from my phone after that meeting was done to pop it open, look at the recap notes and be right up to speed within 2 minutes of that call that took place for 45 minutes. So the features that are using natural language, the recaps that you're getting here with the action items and follow-up dates, these are just very simple entry-level things that we put into our organization that have saved a ton of time for our team. And again, I go back to the key points that you look at when you want to incorporate this into your organization. How do you create productivity and creativity? You can use Copilot for that very effectively and with a very low-hanging fruit opportunity here. So those summaries that are generated for those range of meetings, you can help push those over to other teams. You can log those for the future. You can start to learn from those. For instance, if you're doing demos like our company does, those can be training videos. You can start to use those for content in your organization. Now, as we kind of continue here, marketing, one of my favorite topics. As we tested this in the marketing team, to meet customer expectations, we needed to deliver personalized marketing experiences across physical and digital channels. So this really empowered us to look proactively and target any audience segment in lockstep with market trends and customer demand. So Copilot has allowed us to really pull together data quickly, has allowed us to segment our audience very quickly, and really kind of get to customer expectations in a different way. Personally, I love what I'm going to call the tiny team approach. I really like a minimalistic approach to marketing, which really has to do with having a tiny team that can do the biggest impact activities that return the greatest return of results. I find great value in that. And so when I think about what Copilot can do for my team, which by the way, if you're on a marketing team or if you're part of an organization, I know that you can probably identify with me that the marketing team is probably not huge. So this is a great benefit to small marketing teams or just marketing teams that want to be more efficient. So traditionally, we relied on data analysts. We've relied on our consultants to really leverage their skill set to write queries in SQL for us, to uncover insights from our customer data. And what could take weeks at that point of trying to get somebody to pull data for us and help us with that, our team's been able to engage directly with the consumer data, with the trending data, and we get to discover new information that we may not have been aware of by waiting for that data in the past. And so very quick analysis of traffic patterns and just cost per acquisition and some of these different metrics that we're tracking have become like real-time right now data that we don't have to wait for anymore. So with really simple prompts, we have been able to ask questions using very natural language. We don't have to worry about what fields we're asking questions for or that we're describing the type of data exactly as it's built out in the database. We can just ask our questions naturally that we know to be true in our own language, and we can understand things like customer segment sizes and preferences. There's no need to be a SQL expert or wait for other teams to process these requests for us anymore. And for an example, a marketer might want to identify customers, for example, that reside in San Francisco, California, and with a customer lifetime value who also has made a purchase in the last 90 days. With a few clicks, Copilot produces that results for us, along with information such as the customer's average age, our product preferences, average purchase price, and these insights can be configured into segments that support the different campaigns that we're doing. So with Copilot, marketers can now get a deeper understanding of their clients in real time, which is exactly what we experienced. Now, also, segmentation is an important step to creating a personalized campaign based on interests and needs. It can also be very time consuming, and it was for us. It often required knowledge of really complex data structures defined by our marketing database. We had to go in, we had to pull different fields, and we were able now to use Copilot and some of these AI capabilities to just really help us create and enhance our segments so that we don't have to specifically go in and find those fields that we need to pull. Again, natural language. So marketers like us, we can describe the target audience and characteristics, the type of segmentation description, all contacts under the age of 30 as an example. And rather than having to manually select data tables, we can select the description and the contacts we wish to engage and then add the results to a segment builder to build out our list. So by using this really simple, I'm going to call it a query approach, we can create real-time segments without the need for knowledge of backend data, saving hours of time. Now, one more on the marketing side here, because I'm really into marketing. Email marketing is a really powerful way to engage audiences if the email content is compelling and relevant. But too often that content can become feeling sort of stale and repetitive over time. So the content ideas that we got from Copilot, inspired by our team, by turning topics into suggested copy, that really helped us move from concept to completion faster. So when editing an email, you can actually prompt Copilot with up to 5 key points to get across in the email. And the content idea capability that OpenAI uses, it generates a set of text that's unique to the content and can be used as a starting point when you're composing these marketing emails. It can also analyze the organization's existing emails in addition to a range of internet sources to increase the relevance of your generated ideas. So with Copilot, you can actually save hours of time brainstorming and editing while keeping content fresh and engaging. It's not stale content, it's fresh. And so obviously marketing is a sweet spot for me and I could talk about it for hours, but we're going to move on here to service. Before we do that, I'm going to take a quick look at our chats here. I see we've got some engaging items in here. So let's take a quick look. We've got a new customer acquisition, Acumatica ERP in particular, replacing GP and SL. Let's see, practice you have, do not want to compete. Okay, so I'll take a look at that. Tim Rodman, you're driving and listening. Welcome, welcome. Let's see, Greg, more time to provide deliverables to clients and decrease admin tasks that are unbillable. Yes, that's the purpose of Copilot. Again, it's creating automation and reducing some of that admin time. Let's see here. Please share a real-world example of increasing individual productivity using Copilot. Actually, how about yourself? Yeah, so I've actually been using Copilot in personal and professional life because I've been really testing it out in different ways. On the professional side of things, what I'm doing is I'm having it analyze how I've spent my time over the past 90 days. So I have it go look back at my calendar, tell me how much time I'm spending in emails, how much time I'm spending with answering, with responding, and then also how much time I'm spending in different programs like Word and PowerPoint. What that's telling me is how much time I'm spending on admin work and building and creating. And it's getting me a little bit more aware specifically of how I'm spending my time individually. On the other side of it, I actually use Copilot personally for putting together recipes because sometimes I don't have all the ingredients in the refrigerator that I know I need for a recipe. So I just list out the ingredients and say, hey, what can I make with these 4 ingredients? And it gives me ideas. So you can use it in all sorts of different ways. All right, so let's get into services. Hope that helped and maybe it was a little bit entertaining there. I'm kind of curious, if you're using Copilot for personal things too, tell me what those are because I'd like to get better at it. Okay, so on the service side, Our support team is really critical for maintaining customer loyalty. This is a big focus of ours at Crestwood. We want to extend the life of our clients' experience with us by growing with them, supporting them, and being their partner, not their vendor. And so as we think about how we service these clients, we know that they face pressure and they need immediate results and responses when they're dealing with service questions or support questions. So oftentimes our service team is facing pressure to resolve multiple customer cases very quickly, and it leads to potential burnout and decreased customer satisfaction if we don't address these the right way. So to address these challenges, we needed tools that could help them streamline their tasks across both simple and complex cases while still providing personalized service to resolve cases thoroughly and efficiently. So with Copilot, we've been able to easily expedite resolving customer service issues to increase customer satisfaction. So much so that we've actually increased our attrition rate with our client base. We've increased it by 4%, which is really great over the last 30 days. We have a very low attrition rate to begin with, so that one's awesome. Now, Copilot provides help in relevant and personalized email responses to customer queries in just seconds. It also helps you to very quickly research all the different communication channels to see maybe somebody else is dealing with this client, or maybe they've already sent this email somewhere else, or they're diagnosing this complex customer issue somewhere else. So it's allowed us to pull data very quickly, and with comprehensive and efficient assistance with Copilot, our support team can significantly reduce the amount of time they're spent searching for content, drafting their response, resulting in really improved productivity and customer engagement. We have been able to significantly reduce our response times with our clients as well, up to 50% difference at this point. And we're just seeing that we're getting faster knowledge when we're using Copilot on really complex questions. So it's not only getting us faster in our productivity, but it's educating our team faster as well on things that maybe we forgot or we haven't been up to date on. It will say, hey, don't forget, you can actually click through these 3 areas to get to where you need in this screen. And it's like, oh yeah, we knew that, but just simply forgot. And so it's a nice assistant to help just refresh skills and training. So all that said, AI innovation, like we've seen today, is poised to reinvent every industry, really. And these very simple examples of how Crestwood implemented Copilot very simply into our environment is a great example. And so as I talked about these items, tell me if there's anything in particular that interested you here on what we've done at Crestwood, or any challenges now that you're thinking differently of that you'd like to apply into your environment. And when you think about what you can do with your environment, what's the one thing that you could do and implement today with Copilot to increase your productivity and creativity? AI is a really big world, but if you bring it down into what's the one thing you can do that makes a crater of an impact, it can do what it did for our team, which is save about 10 hours a week with streamlining really mundane tasks, helping you be more productive and more creative. And so now that you've heard about this personal experience at Crestwood and implementing Copilot in really simplistic ways, I could go deeper into what we're doing with GitHub, which is probably like next level developer information. And we could talk about what we're doing with our CRM. Those are probably level 2 Copilot discussions. What I want to do now, though, is I want to quickly look at 2 other companies, and then we're going to turn this over to Colleen, and we're going to talk to our guest speaker today. So company number 1 here, just a really quick, amazing story, comes from a really rather large construction company. They started with getting their data estate connected, and they unified all of their decentralized sources. So everything that was disconnected, they got it connected. Once they built this and they opened it up, it opened them up for all sorts of different types of opportunities. One of those opportunities came from applying Copilot to their data. And what they discovered was the model's capabilities to find risk. So their one thing they focused on was how do we identify risk with more accuracy? After training with it for just 3 months of data, so they gave Copilot OpenAI, they gave it 3 months of data. Their model that they built is now able to predict risk with an 80% accuracy, which is mind-blowing in the construction industry. So my team, I tell them often, the enemy of the great is oftentimes the good. You can be doing a lot of good things with Copilot, and you could be trying out a lot of different things, but create clarity and focus around the greatest thing you could be using it for and start there. Strawbag, which is this company here, this construction company, did exactly that, and they're reaping the rewards for it. I'm actually going to link to their case study and throw that into the chat for you. In addition, I'm going to throw a series of other links. I think Kayla's going to take care of those for me. We're going to send the other links to other customer stories that you'll likely see along the way. These will help you take a look at maybe your industry and something that's a little bit more like your company. There's tons out there on companies that are innovating and using Copilot really well. All right, so let's take another look at one more example. This one specifically is Copilot, and maybe you've heard of this, or excuse me, this one is specifically implementing Copilot, and maybe you've heard of the brand. It's called CarMax. And so let's take a really fast look here at their experience, and I'll let you listen to the video. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Colleen here in just a second. But before I do that, consider what your employees and your customers need when it comes to what you're doing in the workplace. AI can be shiny, Copilot can be shiny. Here's 10 illustrative use cases for what you could be looking to really improve in your organization. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Over on LinkedIn, Stephanie McCauley. If you have more questions, if I can answer anything, share our experience at Crestwood, I'm happy to do so. In the meantime, I'm happy to introduce you to Weldy Lamont Associates, who's been a global leader in supplying and installing electrical equipment since 1946. They specialize in engineering, supplying, and constructing infrastructure equipment worldwide. And their experience in the market has really earned them this international recognition as the most innovative rural electrification EPC. And their background allows them to really understand their clients' businesses and objectives, and they have the technical and financial resources to execute and sustain the most complex infrastructure projects. They're really committed to delivering essential infrastructure to regions around the world, which I thought was really neat. And they focus on those that most reliably that need it and are most reliable and cost effective in it. So we're going to hear from them today specifically. And this is a client of ours at Crestwood that was gracious enough to join us. And so, Colleen, I'm going to hand this off to you.
All right. Thanks, Steph. That was some great content. It was really cool to see some world examples, not just what we've been able to do at Crestwood. It's great to see that there's other clients out there. So Pat Henley, are you on with Crestwood still?
Yes, I am.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really, really appreciate it. Just have a couple of questions. I think, if you wouldn't mind kind of talking through and providing to the people on this call what specific challenges or goals that led you to explore and ultimately decide on integrating Copilot into Weldy.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what prompted me to get into it. but I'm glad I have, and I use it mostly with Teams calls. And Stephanie, you got me blushing. That was such a, I'm a guppy here in a pond of whales with a lot of people. But I can get into a lot of calls that'll last an hour and a half. And sometimes they're international. So actually with Teams, this is outside of Copilot, I use that translation service, and it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. But when everybody's speaking English and I got an hour and a half worth of call, and I'll make a couple of notes here and there, but I've recorded the whole call. At the end, I say, Copilot, would you summarize, recap the meeting, and give me my action points? And it'll do that. Boom. And I literally love it. That saves me so much time. I copy and then I paste it into OneNotes. So now I have a copy of that meeting. And the next time I ever am talking to somebody, I can go right back and go, there's all the highlights from my call. That's the biggest thing I use Copilot for. And I've used Copilot a couple of times trying to think up, all right, I got to write a report to this guy on a marketplace that I'm not 100% sure of. I can ask Copilot a generic question. Would you please tell me, what should I say in this type of application? So it has worked. I was happy when you guys asked me about it because I really think Copilot is it's a great product. It's got a few weaknesses here and there. In OneNote, I'd like it to do a little bit more for me. But hey, if anybody's really contemplating on using Copilot, dip your toe in the water. You got to try it. You'll be real surprised. That's about what
great.
I have for you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's what I have for you. But,
Okay, all right. Well, were there any challenges, or like, could you explain the experience that you had with onboarding and implementing it? Like, was it a long ramp up time? Are you the only one in the organization that's using it? Can you just give us a little, description on how that went on your experience?
sure. Beyond, I was the one that tried it out. And business was just jumping around. I don't have any of my other people using it right now. It's just I jumped from one thing to the other. But it was interesting trying to get Copilot. I was working with Ben Borger, and when I first asked for it, Microsoft was saying, well, I don't have 300 people. I can't use it. So I waited, and then they opened it up, and now I have it. And I will implement it across the other people in my office. It's one of those, I got to do this. And then a customer calls and says, you got to do this. So I jumped to that. But to implement it was nothing. It sits in the background. It's a Copilot. And I really love what it does for me on my team's calls and keeps track of. For instance, this call, you could, if you release the transcript, I'll just tell Copilot, summarize it, and it's great.
Nice. Well, it's really exciting. I'm glad that Ben was able to help you out on that and get things rolling out for you. And I'm excited that you're, going to be deploying it across the organization as well. If there was one thing you could say to somebody on this call that really has hesitation to deploy it, like what would your advice be?
Well, that's what I mentioned. Just dip your toe in the water and try it. Once you've used it for probably about 2 weeks, then you're going to sit back and go, I need this. This saves me time. I just didn't look back. It just boom, went forward. So
Great. Well, I know we're coming up on time, and Pat, we really appreciate you joining
You're
us
welcome.
today
Yeah.
and being part of the discussion. It's always great to hear from somebody, that is using it and can provide some real life experience. So before we open up the Q&A, I wanted to touch on a couple of items. Our objective today, Steph, if you want to go to the next slide, was to provide you with real world examples on how other companies have embraced Copilot in the AI transformation. So what's the next step? Let us help you get AI ready. Let's start with an evaluation. You know, as Pat said, I'm going to use his line. Let's dip your toe in the water. We're offering a free consultation where we can help you determine how you are leveraging your M365 licensing and a direction on protecting your identity, devices, and data for a successful deployment of Copilot. Or in other words, let us help you get AI ready. To help with this, we're providing you with a Copilot assessment that you can use as a starting point in your organization to help you assess your needs. From there, we can arrange a call with one of our experts to walk through the results of the assessment. And I think Kayla will make sure that that assessment is set either in the chat or through the email follow-up with the recording. We still have one more webinar this month on Copilot. August 29th will provide some more tips and tricks. If you've not already registered, you can do so by heading to our website, crestwood.com, and under the resources section, select webinars and events. Or you're always more than welcome to email any of us on this call or sales@crestwood.com and we'll get you signed up. In addition, you will receive a follow-up email after today's presentation with the copy of the recording. So I think there were a couple of questions. Stephanie ran through those a little bit earlier. And I hope that by the presentation that we saw today, everybody feels that their questions were answered. Wasn't sure, Stephanie or Kayla, if you saw any that maybe we need to address that I didn't see since then. Just thought I would throw that out there.
Yeah, I think we've got them all answered at this point. I kind of went through and replied to a couple comments here. So if I missed anything, I'll do a quick update here right after the call. But I think for the most part, we've got everything covered at this point, Colleen.
Great. All right. Well, it was a great event, great session, great webinar. Thank you. And make sure to reach on out and get your AI Copilot transformation started with us. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Thank you.